When we think of France, we imagine kings, castles, and revolutions. But long before that, the land we now call France was home to a different people, the Gauls. Fierce tribes who painted their bodies for war, followed mysterious druids, and fought to stay free against the mightiest empire of all, Rome. This is not the story of France, the nation. This is the story of France before France.
The Gauls were part of the Celtic world. They lived in forests and valleys across what is today France, Belgium, and parts of Switzerland. Life was tribal. Dozens, even hundreds of clans ruled their own territories. They were farmers, metalworkers, and traders. Their art was full of spirals, animals, and bold designs. But what truly bound the Gauls together was their spiritual life. Druids, priests, healers, and judges held enormous power. They guided the people, led sacred rituals, and carried the wisdom of generations. To the Gauls, the forest was alive, rivers sacred, and the afterlife just another journey.
The Gauls were known as warriors. Roman writers described them as tall, fierce, and unstoppable in battle. They carried long iron swords, great oval shields, and sometimes wore helmets decorated with horns or wings. Before fighting, some even painted their bodies or wore torques. Golden neck rings that symbolized honor and bravery. But they weren't only fighters. They were also traders, exchanging goods with the Greeks and Romans. They built fortified towns, Achaidh, that became centers of culture and power. Yet, one thing remained true. The Gauls loved freedom, and no single ruler could unite them all. By the 1st century BC, Rome was expanding. Across the Alps, Julius Caesar saw Gaul as land rich in resources. Fertile fields, metals, and people who could become Rome's subjects. In 58 BC, Caesar launched the Gallic Wars. Tribe after tribe fell. Some Gauls made peace, but others resisted fiercely. And from this resistance rose one man who would become a legend. Vercingetorix. Vercingetorix was a young warrior chief. He did what no Gaul had done before. He united the tribes. For the first time, the Gauls stood together against Rome. At first, he used clever tactics, burning fields, cutting off supplies, forcing the Romans to starve. The dream of a free Gaul seemed possible. But in 52 BC, the two forces met at Alesia. The Romans surrounded the city with walls and siege works. Inside, Vercingetorix and his warriors starved as they waited for reinforcements. The relief never came. The Gauls were trapped. In the end, Vercingetorix surrendered to save his people. He was taken to Rome, paraded through the streets, and later executed. With the fall of Alesia, Gaul became part of the Roman Empire. The Romans built roads, aqueducts, and cities like Lugdunum, today's Lyon. Latin became the language of the land, slowly replacing the Celtic tongue. But the Gauls didn't vanish. They mixed with Roman culture, creating a new identity that would one day become France.
Even though Rome conquered Gaul, the memory of the Gauls never disappeared. In France today, Vercingetorix is remembered as a national hero, a symbol of unity and courage. Statues of him stand tall across the country. Even in popular culture, the comic books of Asterix and Obelix keep the Gauls alive, small, stubborn warriors who refuse to give in to Rome. The Gauls may be gone, but their spirit lives on in France, in its people, its pride, and its past. Before there was France, there were the Gauls. Civilizations rise, fall, and change, but their stories remain. This was the story of the Gauls, France before France. Subscribe for more journeys into the world's forgotten civilizations.